Guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Roommates. So let's jump right back in. As soon as she says that, one of the professor's TAs walks into the room pushing a cart with a blanket over it and a suspiciously body-shaped lump under the blanket. This is a 301 class. I'm pretty sure we're not up to this stuff yet. As soon as I see the look of glee on the professor's face, though, I know we're going to be doing this. All right, better question. Who wants to make the first incision? Don't worry, he's dead. He complains very little. Around the room, everyone seems unsure what to do with this. A few hands tentatively go up. Come on, you won't get a chance like this for another 2 or 3 years. Professor Merriweather, are you sure this conforms to regulations? I'm sorry, I thought this was biology. Apparently it's intro to law. Well, as it turns out, I've probably got a degree in that too, so how about you shut up? As a matter of fact, it looks like someone just volunteered to take the first cut. The professor stares at me as the entire rest of the class turns to look at me with a mixture of amusement and horror. I wait a few moments to see if the professor is going to change her mind. But finally, I stand up and walk down to the front of the class. Here you go, Captain Rules. How about you choose our lesson plan for today? Pick a spot. We'll examine whatever you cut up. The professor hands me some plastic gloves, which I put on as she stands there staring at me. She then hands me a scalpel, and I look at the body. Luckily, the TA left his face and lower half covered. I walk over to the corpse and try to figure out what I'm going to do. Let's cut into the chest. I take a deep breath and then examine the chest of the cadaver. I'm not sure what area I want to examine. Heart? Lungs? He's not getting any deader, kid. Just pick something. Finally, I make a deep incision just below his right lung, pulling the knife around to make a good flap. That's better. All right, looks like we're looking at the lungs today. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the lack of blood. That's because they drain these things, and because I'm not a complete idiot. The professor looks at me, just standing there, and makes shooing motions. I slowly return to my seat as Professor Merriweather begins her lecture properly. I can't believe she had me do that. It wasn't my favorite, but it was still a fascinating learning opportunity. Okay, so we are at week 18. And I should be good to go. Heck, yes, I am. Whew. It's about time. Alright. Now then, week 19, still nothing to do here. Okay, hopefully, nope. I'm starving. Luckily, the cafe is on the way home. A nice sandwich sounds perfect about now. As I open the door, I see Isabella and wave hello. She smiles, but she seems to be busy. As I'm sitting down with my food, I notice Chad coming in. Ugh, this might get ugly. I duck down in my seat a bit. I don't want to cause a scene, and I certainly don't want to antagonize the football player. I'm sure he wouldn't do anything violent, but still, there's no need to cause a ruckus. Besides, if Isabella needs me, I want to be here. Luckily, Isabella doesn't notice him at first and keeps serving other customers. Finally, after a few moments, I hear Chad clearing his throat loudly. Hey, Isabella, I don't get to have a word or nothing. I don't see why you should get a word in. Do you honestly feel like there's something to say? Because I don't particularly... Come on, don't be like that, baby. Look, I'm sorry I screwed up. Doesn't mean we can't have some good times, right? You really think that's all it's going to take? Isabella sets down the tray she was carrying with enough force that the sound echoes through the whole cafe. We're over, you bastard! You had your chance at greatness and you frickin' blew it. Now scuttle off and leave me be. Come on, baby. I'm not the only one missing out. We had some good times, right? I've made some mistakes, sure, but I'm coming to you on my knees here. Oh, are you? Really? Because you look like you're standing perfectly well to me. You don't even have flowers or chocolates or anything. You're not even trying. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad you didn't bring me flowers. I'd hate to think you wasted your money. We done here?
Come on, you think you could do better than me? Just forgive me already.
Are you kidding? I could find a better man than you out behind the dumpsters. Chad turns red in anger for a moment.
Are you kidding me? I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Nope, we're gonna let Isabella handle it. I think for a moment about jumping in and sticking up for Isabella, but then I realized I'd just be butting in. This is between Isabella and Chad, and she doesn't need me sticking my nose in. No, Chad. The best thing that ever happened to me was finding out early that you were a boneheaded, selfish asshole without a lick of sense to you. If you had any of those things, you wouldn't have treated me the way you did. So why do you think I want to have anything to do with your ridiculous ass?
Hey, look, I'm just saying
You're just saying, hey, sucker, I want to treat you like a possession and sex toy. Why won't you go back in my pocket where you belong? Here's a hint, because I'm none of those things, and the fact that you probably, even now, don't understand that is why we will never, ever be together again. Chad looks completely stunned by Isabella's tirade. He's just standing there slack-jawed. I'm sick of you taking up my air, jack off. I'm going to the back. If you're still here when I get back, you're going to be the sorriest sack of crap in this whole school. Isabella stalks off to the back, completely ignoring Chad. For his part, Chad just shakes his head and turns to leave. He can't muster a quip or line. He's been completely defeated. A few minutes later, Isabella comes out of the back and spots me still sitting there. Oh man, you saw all that, huh? What an asshole, am I right? I just smile and nod. Thanks for not butting in. I hate when people try to fight my fights for me. Well, you're a very strong woman, Isabella. I knew you'd be fine. Well, thanks anyway. You full? If not, I'll grab you something good. Sounds great. Yes, Isabella. Strong woman. Okay, so we are going to be at week 20 here pretty soon. Well, just another night at home, hitting the books. So many things to study for. It's a nice change of pace from high school. I crack my knuckles happily as I begin to dive into the notes I took in class today. For a moment, I sigh wistfully. I really should have done something to end the year with a bang, but oh well. At any rate, it's probably going to be a long night. I might as well just catch some sleep. Okay, so week 20. We have to wait till week 21 for anything else to happen with our Max. So, I snag a good seat, prepared for another class. I sometimes can't believe they still let Professor Task teach here. I guess that's the power of tenure. I wonder what he's going to get into today. All right, you little money sacks, sit down. Let's get this started. Everyone quiets down, settling in their seats. The professor turns on a projector and starts displaying slides. The slides seem to be displaying a countryside, a few buildings dot it. As he progresses through the slides, we see a bunch of people standing in front of the buildings and posing. Professor, are we just looking at your vacation slides? What's your point? I'm trying to get to a point. If certain noisy know-nothings would stop interrupting me. I sit back in my seat, not believing we're actually looking at a professor's vacation slides. Oh, I'm sorry, Anne. Is my lecture boring you? Perhaps you'd like to give a better one? Come on, get down here. I stand up from my desk, walking down to stand in front of the professor. He looks down at me, that stern glare in his eyes. I've had my eye on you for a while now, Anne. I've been watching you and hoping that you would blossom into the full and glorious student I know you could be. I look quizzically at the professor. I had no idea he had such an interest in me. His smoldering brown eyes are boring a hole into me. Well, I wanted to do my best for you, Professor. I know you did, Anne. That was part of my joy. Watching you, knowing that you were so eager to please me, and that I was so eager to teach. Suddenly, the professor takes me into his arms. You are the one for me, Anne. You are the one who can take my instruction, and I only teach pleasure.
When I'm done, you will know pleasure and how to please better than any other person before you.
The professor hugs me close, looking down into my eyes.
Will you complete me, Anne? Will you be the pupil I need to complete the circle?
I could feel warmth creeping up my neck. I bury my head in the professor's coat. We're gonna deny the professor's advances. I'm sorry, Professor Task, but my heart already belongs to Max. The professor pushes me harshly away from him, throwing an arm across his face.
Fine. I thought that you could be the one, but no. You are just like all the others. You will never be complete without me, Anne, you fool. But I must admit, I will never be complete without you.
From under his jacket, the professor pulls a long knife. The class gasps as he puts the knife to his chest just over his heart.
If I cannot have you, then I do not want anyone. I regret only one thing, that I wasted my time loving a waste like Anne.
Professor Task pulls the dagger away. I turn my head, not wanting to watch. As the dagger plunges towards his breast, I hear a scream from the back. No, all is not lost, Professor. You don't have to do this.
I don't?
No, you really don't.
Oh, I thought.
Yes, I know, but you don't. Though you could always kill Anne if you need to kill someone.
Hey, great idea. Here, take my spare.
I'd look in horror as the professor and Roxanne begin approaching me with daggers bared. I can't run, I can't hide, and they're getting closer. They're almost on top of me. With a start, I lift my head off my desk. I can't believe I fell asleep. What the hell was that dream?
That's why you should always be aware of what kind of cheese you're buying in foreign countries. See, I told you I was getting to a point.
Okay, Anne, you are fucking weird as shit. I can't believe how busy I've gotten. The year's almost over, and I feel like I'm never going to be done studying. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to just hang out with my friends, aside from some drama here and there. Oh well, success is its own reward after all. I head up to my room and close the door. Time to take care of business for a while. Ooh, I probably should have studied more. To be quite honest. Okay, week 20, Sunday. Back in my room at last. Just as I'm putting my keys on my desk, there's a knock on my door. Anne, you have to help me. They have outwitted me. I stand with my keys in hand, staring at Rakesh. Who's outwitted you? My parents. They're going to be video calling me in 20 minutes. So? So, the letter I wrote them. They're not coming, but they still want to check up on me. You have to help me. I look down at the keys in my hand for a moment before answering. Let's just skip it. He can handle it himself. I'm sorry, Rakesh, but my professor wants me to come down for an immediate conference about my essay for finals. I can't blow this off, Rakesh. You'll be fine. Just tell your parents the truth, okay? Rakesh looks devastated, but he nods and wanders off back to his room. I pick up my house keys and wander back outside. I really don't want to get in the middle of Rakesh's personal problems like this. I didn't have anywhere to go, though. Maybe Carmen's not busy. Or I could just go to the library. True that. Alright, let's study hard, guys. Study. Sleep early. Study. Sleep early and take naps, I guess. Actually, there we go. I don't know if that's actually going to work, but here we go. Okay, give me a call tomorrow and we could talk a bit more, okay? Sounds great. I think I'm going to see if Max wants to go out tonight. Ooh, yeah. I'm so glad you two got together. You're so cute with each other. I blush as I wave goodbye to Carmen. I hope with finals so close, we can have a bit of fun tonight. Though I might just try to take some time to make sure my homework is finished. Of course we're going to play this event. I drop my things off in my room and go knock on Max's door. Hey, cutie, come on in. How are classes going? Oh, about how you'd expect, honestly. Max grins sheepishly as I go and flop down on his bed. I do wish he'd clean up in here sometimes, but then I wonder if I'd miss the mess. It seems like such a part of him. I actually figured I'd give studying a shot tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, am I interrupting? I start propping myself up to go. No, you're fine. I'm about ready for a break. Have you even started yet? Oh, fine. But we're staying in tonight and just for a bit. Then you need to get some studying done. Oh, if you just wanted to stay in, that's all you had to say. I hold out a hand as Max reaches for the bottom of his shirt. People who don't study don't get rewards, Buster. In my room on the desk, there's a board game. Carmen gave it to me with the hopes of me setting up a game night here one night. That sounds like much less fun. But sure, we'll give it a shot. While Max goes to grab the game, I clean off a spot on the floor, trying to give us room to play in. About 40 minutes later, Max and I are deep into a resource war and trading like crazy to try and get the upper hand. So, how's your band doing, Max? I know you've been out with Memphis a lot lately. Don't be jealous. He and Sally are together so often it's like I've got a fifth band member. But yeah, things are going great. We got a lot of good buzz from Christmas, and it's been producing pretty steady work. It's not a meteoric rise to the top, but I never expected that. Well, I hope you can pass your classes while you work on it. I mean, if you flunk and get kicked out of school, you'd have to pay for an apartment and all that stuff. Don't remind me. But yeah, that's why I'm glad you're with me, Anne. You keep me on the straight and narrow, and housed. We both chuckle, though Max is looking at me quite fondly. I'm glad I could encourage him to keep up with his studies while he chases his real dreams. At any rate, it's probably about time you got back to your studies. What? But I'm about to win! Pff, you wish? Wait, are you trying to get me to stop so you can switch our cards? I have to go now. I have my own paper to write. Max laughs as I give him a big hug and a slightly lingering kiss. Then I really do go work on my own paperwork. All right. So it looks like that was the last thing that I had to do for his route. I can't believe the year's almost over. Sometimes I regret not throwing something together. Still, no sense worrying about it now. At least instead of worrying about it, I can catch a nap. Nothing beats a nap before a big test. I head back home and decide to lay down. Okay. All right, kids, you got finals next week. I'm sure you've all got plenty of studying to do. I could try teaching you something that's going to be on the finals. But really, why should I start teaching now? The professor throws a slide on the projector that just says study before walking out of the room. Half the class opens their book and starts studying. The other half starts standing up to pack up their things. Not sure which I should do. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do this one. I suppose I really should get some studying done. I don't want to blow my finals after all. This seems like a perfectly quiet place to do it. I break open my books and start writing some notes to take a closer look at later tonight. It's been a long year, but I'm almost to summer. I could take a nice long break. And really recharge my batteries to hit the books even harder next year. The next 2 weeks fairly flew by. Between my finals and everyone else's, I barely got any time to spend with my friends. I put a lot of work into this last final, but it's not really my last one. Sometimes the idea of 3 more years of this seems incredibly daunting. But I know I need my education. So even though there's a lot of hard times ahead, I know the payoff will be worth it in the end. I probably wouldn't even be on campus today if I hadn't needed to sell back some books. As long as I was here, though, I went ahead and printed off my grades for the year. Despite all the craziness this quarter, I've even managed to keep my grades up. It's nice to see all my hard work paying off on my grades. As I watch the students passing by, I can't help but wonder how many more nice people I could have met this year. I'm glad I've met so many, but I really feel like I've made some I really feel like I've made some progress, but I don't know. It feels like I'm still a little cooped up. Still, it's not like I haven't met anyone new. I'll just have to try harder in the future. Finally, standing back on the porch of Latin House, I think over all the things I've done this year. Smiling to myself, I open the door and head inside. I drop my things off in my room and check my watch. I've only got a few hours before I need to be down at Gaz's. I promised Max I'd help them set up before the show. Sometimes I'm still amazed that a guy like Max wants to go out with a girl like me. I guess, though, it's fair to say that I've come out of my shell since I first came here. Max has definitely been a help in that. A few hours later, I walk up to the front door of Gaz's club. I guess I haven't been here in a while, because I don't recognize the bouncer at the door.
Yo, girlie! Sorry, but the band doesn't start for another hour or so. You're gonna have to wait.
I'm actually with.
With who? The fire inspector? Pull the other one. Come on. Clear off, girlie.
Hey! Listen! I'm here with the band. I told Max I'd be here to help early, so let me in there. The bouncer blinks at me, taken aback that I just yelled at him.
Let me, check my list, okay? Anne, that you?
Yeah, tell Max I'll be in there in a sec.
You got it, girl.
The bouncer looks back at Memphis as he walks past the door towards the backstage. He looks back at me with an arched eyebrow. The bouncer, deferentially steps away from the door. I try not to smirk as I walk past him.
Hey, baby, thanks for helping. We really appreciate it. Go help Slim get her drums set up.
You got it! Time passes quickly as I busy myself setting things up. Finally, Max pulls me aside.
What would you like backstage? I can get Gaz to set you up.
I shake my head, grinning at Max. No thanks, I'll be out in the audience. It's the best way to see the show. I get to ride the emotion with the crowd.
Dang, Anne. Well, how could I argue with that? You sure you're going to be okay out there with all those people?
I nod vigorously and wave as I head out to the floor. By now, people have started filtering in, and I sneak out of the backstage to mingle with the crowd. When the show starts, the crowd is immediately into it. The first several songs have the crowd jumping and dancing. Max may not be the best at studying, but he's definitely got a sense of dedication. Just listening to this crowd will tell you that. Max has worked so incredibly hard to make this band well known around here. I'm just as excited as everyone else here.
Thanks for the love, everyone. We've worked hard to throw this special graduation concert. Nothing makes me happier than seeing all your smiling faces out there cheering for us. Of course, one face in particular has been cheering me on from behind the stage and on stage and everywhere, really. Anne, baby, get up here.
I can't believe he's calling me. I had no idea he was going to do this. I run towards the stage, somewhat enjoying the looks of surprise and jealousy on the faces of the other people around me. Aww! Max's hand reaches out, pulling me onto the stage. He doesn't even waste words, and neither do I. At first, the audience is quiet, but after a breath, the crowd erupts into cheers, and it's the most thrilling feeling I've ever had. When Max finally breaks the kiss, he grabs up his guitar, winking at me.
This next one is dedicated to Anne.
I scamper off to the backstage area, watching as Max roars into back alley Flash's big song.
He can be a jerk sometimes, but when he makes a sweet gesture, he goes all out. So yeah, that's the last thing I remember doing my first year of college. It's been years since I thought about my college days. As I look back at the time I spent at Latin House, it was definitely the start of a new chapter for me. The world seemed full of new possibilities, and I think I really wanted to seize all of them. Well, maybe I let some opportunities pass me by, but I still feel like I made the most out of those years. I think I'm happiest though that I managed to meet all those people and still keep my grades at an acceptable level. I graduated with honors with a library science degree and a minor in English. Most people never expected any less, but I'll admit I had to ignore people pretty badly sometimes to keep myself out of trouble. Whatever did happen to the others? It's hard to remember everybody these days. Let's see. Oh, but I've left I've left out Max, haven't I? Max stuck with college for about 3 years. He came close to graduating when he scored a record deal. And that was it. No more college for him. He went off with his band to record and tour. Let's see, you earned this particular ending because the sum of the stats associated with this character was below 600. Oh, you can discover a better ending if you meet or exceed these requirements. Interesting! So he kept in touch while I was still in school, but we were still ostensibly dating. But his rising star kept him away for months at a time. To say we were growing distant would have been an understatement. When I graduated, I went on a few tours with him whenever I got time off work. Eventually, though, I wanted the stability of staying in a single city, and Max clearly wanted to burn bright and die young. We both agreed it was time to part ways. I still smile a bit whenever I see one of his albums, especially if it's in the bargain rack. As for me, well, I learned so much that first year at college, not the least of which was to be myself and not to be so afraid of people. I mean, I don't think I got over myself entirely in that first year. It took me quite some time to really figure out how to be me. I worked at the campus library for a few years after graduating, but when budget cutbacks hit a few years later, I had to get a new job. But yeah, everything else about me, you probably already know. And at any rate, that's good enough for now. I feel like I've been talking about myself for ages. How about you? How was your college experience? Okay. So, honestly, I am probably going to try to go back a little bit, just on my own, get the 600 stat points, and see what kind of ending we can get for that. If I can't, it's not going to go up, obviously, but I will try. And if you see, like, his good ending, then, yeah, you will see it, I guess. But that is it. So, thank you guys so much. And if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!